It's time for the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games at Southern Utah University in Cedar City. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of a Utah sports tradition at utahsummergames.org. Participate in over 50 sports around the state. Then plan to join the opening ceremonies Friday, June 5th, presented by State Bank of Southern Utah. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did you have to fight a dragon?
Nope. She bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
Ladies and gentlemen,
The biggest name.
You're locked on to Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaCombe, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, folks, time to classy up the joint. The great Craig Bolerjack joining us in studio right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. All right, so Bowler, a long time ago, you kind of chose this song as your intro song. Now, we have a couple people, Chewbacca, who, by the way, posted a very impressive AI photo of you.
Oh, boy.
He is. He's quite a wizard with that.
Look at that. And so he says it needs to be sharp-dressed man.
We used
Sharp
to
dress?
do ZZ Top, if you remember.
Yeah.
We did.
So do you want? We can go back to ZZ Top if you want.
I know what happened in the day that Hands.
Well,
didn't
Hands,
like him.
yeah,
Hands went freaked out on me one day.
He did.
Why, Bowler? Why Z? I said, look, sharp dressed man, legs, whatever. How?
Is
I
there
got- I
any
got
reason
tickets.
he doesn't like them?
I don't know.
No,
Like,
okay.
was that something that was forced upon him at one point?
The thing is, with Hands, there's no rhyme or reason. Like movies, music.
Well, that's a crazy way to live.
It was an odd.
He's missing out.
It surprised me that he was that upset. So we go Highwayman, but you know what, Lloyd? While we're here, and to go with that image, I mean, let's go.
ZZ Top.
ZZ.
All right. Yeah, that trying to figure him out on music and movies and TV shows, impossible. You just couldn't.
I feel like with the two of you in here, I should just go out in the hall.
Oh, stop it.
You two are legends.
Oh, we had fun here. I tell you. Well, it was a different time, different place.
Yep.
But these are pretty nice digs, by the way. And I hear there we go. Now that livens it
Yeah,
up.
doesn't it?
Hey, don't you love in the video? Like,
Oh.
Spinning the guitar.
Then
They
they're
make that little
waving them
move.
on through.
Exactly.
Yeah.
come on through.
Come on through.
You've seen the documentary, right?
Yes.
Unreal.
Tell you the journey, and then of course Dusty passing.
Dusty just passed.
Yeah.
And Frank's no longer with drumming.
It. Yeah, he was back there just.
It's the Reverend and the bass tech, and I don't know who's playing the drums, but they're coming through town this summer.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go and
You
check
have
it
to.
out. Yeah.
So you have one
Yeah.
of the three.
But you know he carries it because
he's the Reverend.
He's he is the master. Yeah.
So, what's your off season like? How you holding up?
Holding up okay.
The shoulder doing okay?
Shoulder's good. You know, repair every summer. What you have to do.
A little duct tape and baling twine and
staple, stitch, glue.
Getting 40 is hard, isn't it?
It is. You know,
I mean,
that
this is-
40 birthday was a tough one.
That was just 2 years ago.
Yeah,
for
it
you,
was.
too.
Yeah, I just turned 42. But no, I tell you, off season's good. I've slept enough. And you know, when Lloyd calls on a Friday or a Thursday and says, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, well, I thought maybe you guys would be out and about. And I thought I'll get in the car and go down and see those guys. Instead, I wanted to see the old haunt. I spent 13 years here.
I know. It's crazy.
And
isn't
it has changed
Yeah.
drastically.
Yeah. Yeah. They.
I could barely get in the door.
Oh, they don't mess around with security around here.
No, not at all.
You're like, I'm Craig Bolerjack. Just open up the door. Like this building was pretty much built by me, so just let me in.
I asked the lady, goes, yes, and I said, I'm just here to do some radio, and then I said, yeah, I used to work here. She goes, oh, really? You know, she's about nice lady, 30 or so,
Yeah.
but you know, she doesn't know. Back in the sports beat days, come on, man.
Pull up the YouTube videos. You and Alema, Zippy back in the day. Hey, so Sunday, big day.
Big day.
We've thrown it out there. We're asking people what they're willing to do or give up. in terms of getting that number 1 overall pick. But, Coach has been saying, look, it doesn't have to be number 1. There's so many players in this draft.
I did some research myself last night and last week when we were talking about what, they're trying to do with tanking. I know you guys have been doing a tank special.
Yep.
We've done nothing but talk tanking for about a couple of years here.
One
way or another.
I looked at ESPN. I looked at SI. I looked at Sporting News. The Athletic. I mean, everybody has their own take. But you know what? It's funny because really no one knows where the pick will actually land to whom, right? Even though they're lining it up. The one I pulled out this morning and just brought was the SI, I believe, and it goes, Washington with the number 1. There's others who think Oklahoma City is going to sneak in, kind of like a Dallas plus.
Oh man, if that happens,
Tripper, there'll be riots.
There'll be riots for sure.
But you get Washington, you get Indiana, you get Brooklyn. This one particularly has a Jazz at number 4. I've talked to a couple of the Jazz personnel, and I always ask the same thing to general managers. I mean, this time of year, do you go for a specific position, or are you looking for the best player? And 20 times out of 21 times you ask that, you'll say we're going for the best athlete, the best player, unless you have a major hole in a position that you've got to fill, like probably in Memphis, right? They're looking for guard play, point guard play specifically. But I think it's intriguing to see, the Jazz in this particular draft at number 4. This kid's is a talent out of North Carolina.
Yeah.
I did watch some film on him, Timmy. Caleb Wilson, who's a 20-point guy, rebounder, stretch the floor, plays 2 ways, defender, which again I think is going to be the biggest issue on not Sunday but draft night. There's 2 nights of draft, round 1 and 2, which is going to be fun always. But it's a coin flip still. You don't know who is ahead of you. You don't know if trades come down and someone jumps in, moves up, moves down. It really. I think drafts are just fascinating on how it works out.
I love it. It's one of my favorite things, NFL draft, NBA draft, because when we talk about generational drafts, we look at that 03 draft, where you had LeBron, Carmelo, Dwayne Wade. But guess what? There's always a Darko. And, there's going to be a Darko, maybe not to that extreme, but there'll be a Darko in this draft. There'll be a Michael Olowokandi. There's going to be someone in this draft, even as loaded as it may be, that's going to be like, hey, remember that schlub was in with all those other guys?
Sam Bowie.
Oh, and then he breaks the leg, right? Bowie later, goes and pops the tibia, I guess it was. I remember that video, man. It was just like kind of hanging.
Yeah, that was rough.
Really rough.
Ben Simmons.
Yeah. Hey, don't forget, too, probably the greatest second-round pick of all time is Nikola Jokic.
Yeah.
I mean,
Taco Bell commercial.
So, just the whole draft, because that's the point. These things are all neatly put together and hype, and they're all positioned in there. These guys have no idea.
No.
They're just simply trying to, listen to the best they can. But any draft is the truth. Any draft stands on its own. And Jokic was a second-round draft pick.
Unreal.
I mean, how many guys passed on that, right, and didn't know or didn't feel it? But that's the beauty of it. It's not always going to be those first. And that's why I feel like the Jazz could draft anywhere from, 1 to 7 in this thing, and they'll find a guy that works for them.
Scotty, you know this, and we talked about it again during another time, that I'm not sure that top 5 picks, how many actually turn out to be what they're advertised to be. And I think with younger players now more than ever, the importance of the interview, the importance of the psychological breakdown on who they are, where they've been in AAU, because it's spoon-fed, there's money, NIL. I think that's now maybe one of the most important decisions that the general managers have to do with the help of the rest of their staff, is to make sure they sit down and do you fit our system, knowing what the Jazz are trying to build, and every other team, but what the Jazz personality is now, and how do you fit within that? And are you coachable? Are you willing to wait your turn? Unless, obviously, you're so dynamic and so talented, you've got opportunity to start, or you've got an opportunity to be a nightly rotational player. But I think it's the mental part of this that intrigues me the most with your 18 and 19-year-olds that are more prevalent, dominant now in the draft. And I think that's probably where you stumble on making those decisions, and you don't get the guy that you think has the work ethic or the ability to connect in the locker room, and all of a sudden you've got a problem. And it usually shows up in year one and definitely in year two. That's why I salute Keontae for really diving into himself last summer and saying, look, I got some anger. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to work on it. And it's really been an amazing transformation. And you got to give the Jazz and Keontae just a load of accolades for just turning it around.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good night's sleep.
It's time to bring on the blooms at the Home Depot with Spring Garden Deals. Find savings on hanging baskets and flowers to brighten your backyard or any space that needs instant color. Then get everything you need to plant and protect them with low prices guaranteed on soil and mulch. Dig into Spring Garden Deals for 4 days at the Home Depot. Now through May 10th. Exclusions apply. See homedepot.com/price match for details.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did she have to fight a dragon?
Nope. She bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
Why does Progressive work so hard for truckers? Because truckers unite the world. They unite kids with their first drum sets and parents with earplugs. But truckers can't do this if they're not on the road. That's why Progressive has over 360 heavy truck employees to help truckers stay on time and on track. Quote truck insurance today in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
So I look at a guy like Darren Peterson at Kansas, and he's come out and he said he took too much creatine, and that made him cramp up. But I love watching Will Hardy interact with his players because he's got a really fascinating way of coaching guys really hard. And then when the practice is over, the game is over, it's done. And then we can go and have a bite to eat in the cafeteria and have a good laugh about it. Like, I think that's really rare to be able to coach somebody hard and then let it go and everybody's good. And it has to be the right player, too. And so I worry about a guy like Darren Peterson. Can Will Hardy coach him hard and then realize I'm just trying to make you better and not take it personally? Because Darren Peterson went through Bill Self's Hell Week. And he pretty much lost him the rest of the year because of it. He worked him too hard.
Well, he pulled himself out on a couple of occasions and seemed to be disconnected. Talented, absolutely. It's talked about top 3. And he's going to be, he'll help someone, but to what degree? That's where you kind of get scared to say, am I going to use this pick and roll the dice?
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of GMs have to do. And their jobs depend on it. Coaches' jobs depend on it, Tim, as you know, on who you get and who fits and who is coachable, because a lot of times you get players who believe, look, I'm a top 5. You pick me for a reason and I'm ready to go. But in reality, the changeover from college to the NBA, and I've watched it for years, it's really amazing. I mean, college is one thing from high school to college, but the pros, you're in a man's world with pressure that is beyond. Unless you live it, you don't know it. And I think a lot of players are now putting their phones down and just trying to concentrate on themselves, which is a good thing.
Yeah, but the reason I bring that up about Darren Peterson is that's the narrative. Like, he doesn't want to work hard. There's all this extracurricular stuff about Darren Peterson. Well, there was a lot of that stuff about Ace Bailey.
Absolutely.
In last year's draft, Jazz take him, and it ends up that most of that was false.
And honestly, I'll chime in. I think the biggest reason there is because they did their homework. It's like you said, Bowler, the investment that's being made here, there's no way that you're going in and not fully trying to understand this person the very best you can. And you do that, you talk to people. You talk to tons of people that know them and have known them through the years. I mean, can you imagine if I got a hold of people that knew you back in the day and some of the stories I could get, my gosh, from the fraternity and football days. But honestly, it's
thank goodness no iPhones there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they call every assistant coach. They call, in some cases, I know they've called broadcasters before because they see how they travel. They see them on the road, how they interact with authority. So they're going to do their level best. And if this is that with Darren Peterson, who's going to get that intel, who's going to have it the best, and who's going to be able to feel confident making that decision. And, last year the Jazz, I just know the narrative was that Ace was obstinate, that he was a chucker. He didn't really understand how to play, so he just shot when he got in trouble. And the crazy part, from the very first night to the end of the year, I didn't see it more than he got himself in a couple tough spots where he had to shoot it late. But I didn't see him seeking out bad shots. He really, over the course of the season, did a great job of just reading the room and attacking when he could. But what's the most important thing here? The Jazz knew exactly what they had. Yeah. They knew what kind of kid this was, how hard he would work, how bad he wanted to be on the team. And they obviously knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, the negative was that he didn't want to be here. And again, that's that same storyline that is repeated year after year after year, that the Jazz is not a landing zone, right, for free agents and draft picks would rather not. Well, he made a change. He went from one agent to another. Things then totally turned. And I tell you what, if there's a picture that I remember so well, who got off the plane with Ace Bailey that night coming into Salt Lake City was a former Jazz man who's part of the staff in Carlos Boozer. And his son obviously is going to be a top 3. And Booz could land up with his son right here in Salt Lake. I mean, you just don't know how it plays out. But it was good to have a player who knew the city that on that flight could actually give him some insight. And I can't tell you how many times in my career that I've talked to former players who have come and gone who say to me, man, I had a good here. D. Will. I think D. Will, if he was sitting here, he'd say the same thing. Booz says the same thing. And I think that the stress, the pressure, and also these guys all believe they have to have a shoe contract, and they all believe that they have to have a billboard in downtown Manhattan.
By the third week.
And that's what they've been told.
Yeah.
And, it just doesn't happen that way until they realize that they've got to go out and bust their tail. And are they coachable? And you make a great point, Tim. I mean, you coached. You know these personalities. I mean, all of them are different. I give Will a lot of credit. He understands, I think, and Popovich handled his star players from all indications that when I was around him, he didn't give Tim Duncan slack. He didn't give Ginobili or Parker that much slack. He tried to treat each player, on the same page. But then again, personally, you have to treat, a player and know their tendencies, how to push a button and maybe want to lay back a little bit. But you're right. At the end of the day, you got to be able to get on the plane and discuss the next game and not let that, harbor bad feelings.
I really liked Kevin Love kind of preemptively telling these players, saying, you don't know how good this is here. You don't know anything different. Trust me, I've been with a bunch of different teams. I've been around a bunch of different ownership groups. Your owner knows your name. You've got great facilities. They're going to cater to every need. You don't know how good it is here. And I think that's worth its weight in gold to a lot of these young guys who, are thinking, okay, when I get my next contract and I'm a free agent, I can go here, here, here. And the realization I can make as much money and be taken care of much better here than in other places.
Most approachable guy, veteran I've been around.
Yeah.
I mean, up front. Talked about his struggles, which I think, again, is such an important issue with younger players to know that stress and anxiety is real and that he has worked on it and he continued to play. And Nurk comes in here, who's been jumping around and has landed in a spot that he feels that he has contributed and wants to be a part of. I mean, you're right, guys. I mean, the Jazz have a building that just across the street that's continued to be renovated. Delta Center has just a magical feel to it, and the facilities are continuing to be built next to the Mammoth out at Southtown. I mean, you want high class. I mean, that's high class.
And it's come so far. I was in my previous life, of 6 months, the job I had right before this one, I was working for the Jazz, and I was doing camps and clinics, and had the great fortune of doing a camp for 30 minutes with Daryl Griffith.
Oh,
and
wow.
So Daryl and I hung out, and, kids were playing, and we stood on the side and were able to visit about it. But the coolest part was I was like, what was it like? And he's like, well, the franchise was just here. And, the cool part, I got his number in my phone, too. Now,
Nice.
so I can stay in touch with Daryl.
Let's call him. What do you say?
Yeah, Griff, Golden Griff. So I'm waiting for the horn, man.
I know, that's the thing. I was kind of
trying to set the bit up.
I was signaling to Lloyd.
No, in total. So I said, what was it like when you first got here? Did you like it? He goes, well, I liked it. He said, but I walked into the office, very first day, and they had milk crates instead of bookshelves. And I was looking around, and all the filing was in milk crates in the Jazz offices. So he said, I walked out and found a payphone and called my agent, and he said, hey, we make sure that these checks are going to cash.
Yeah.
So
there was a time there
even that was a little iffy.
Wasn't sure. They actually had offices here at Triad Center.
Oh yeah,
I think on the 5th floor.
Really,
right in the beginning.
Checkits was up there, Frank, and yeah, those were the earlier days. Maybe a year or two after they got here, they found a space here at Triad, and when I was working here, they were here. So that was 85. And so, how things have changed.
Yeah, just a bit. Wow.
Unreal.
No more milk crates.
No more milk crates, man. No.
When you look at overall where that's the last 2 or 3 years has been hell for broadcasters, for coaches, for front office, everybody's struggled with this. Now that you turn the page and after the Triple J trade and everybody gets healthy, and who knows whether it's the number 1 or number 8 overall pick, you hope in some way, shape, or form that they can contribute to actually turn the page on this and say, we're winning next year. That's the goal, is to win games. No more development. I mean, obviously you're going to develop, but the number 1 priority is winning. Is it going to be hard for a player who has probably been told a lot, hey, how's that hangnail going? You should probably sit out a week or so. Yeah, let's take it easy. To now
contusion.
Being like, hey, you know what? So you're bleeding out of your eyelids. We don't care. Go out there and play.
Can you see me?
Yeah. Well, I see. I see 3 baskets when I shoot. Shoot for the middle one.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a transition there?
I don't think so, Scotty. I tell you, the last 3 weeks, the last 20 games or so, I'm not going to lie, it was one of the biggest challenges that I've had in my career. COVID would be another.
Oh, yeah.
100 games off the Jumbotron at Delta Center, with partitions between myself and Big T. Harpering was still in the mix at that time. Look, we knew the score. The fans knew what was going down. My job basically, and some fans liked it, didn't like it, and I get it. We had different player basically introducing themselves to Jazz Nation every night. There's all the guys that, they signed. They played their tail off because it was an audition to see if by chance their skill set would fit with what, the Ainges and Will and Justin Zanuck wanted. And defense is all going to be key here. I mean, defense is really look what Oklahoma City's doing right now. The Jazz are going to have to build a defensive wall, and they've got an offensive wall with defensive ability too, with Triple J and Marketing, and if Kessler does re-sign or the Jazz re-sign him as a restricted, so that is daunting. But the last 20 games after the Triple J trade, there was a total different feel that, you know what, it's over. We're going to continue to play, continue to evaluate, and that's what the Jazz did. And they brought in different players. And I got to give Jazz fans a hell of a lot of credit. I've been in so many arenas. We talked about this before. And Scotty, Tim, programs that are strong and those that are not, college, NBA. And I just am amazed of just the constant support and the number of people that showed up at the Delta Center. to watch, and I think to be a part of the growth process, to understand Sensabaugh, to understand Filipowski, to understand when Collier played, and watch Keontae make a step this year. I'm not blowing smoke, but I tell you, I just was like, wow, these guys could go home and not spend a nickel here. But instead, they decided to be a part of it, and I hope next year we all just kind of revel in that.
Good to hang out for another segment.
Paycheck coming. I mean,
yes,
it's in the mail.
I'll pay you today.
Hey, I'm kidding, man. I'll stay all day. What am I doing?
We can go down to the McDonald's down there, and I'll buy you a burger.
Diet Coke.
Any more, that's about as much as retirement.
Diet Coke.
Oh, of course.
Okay, I'm in.
Well,
I'm in.
Fries might push it over the top, but
okay, just a Big Mac and a DC.
We got you. That's great. Greg Bolerjack in studio with us, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Take a quick break, come back, and we'll have the Tankathon. See exactly where Coach hits the button and see where the Jazz are drafting. Coming up next, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life's sleep.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.